Hey, how's it going? So I have a yesterday and today and a topic. So I guess I should tell you the topic first. It's back to the black people stuff, and it is a subject that I have some personal experience with in a lot of ways. Just wanted to say that right at the top. So culturally, like in the culture rather, because that's how black people kind of refer to themselves as a group, as a conglomerate of everybody. There is a lot of segregation, I guess you could say, and you could definitely say there's racism, and there's a lot of rules, and so as a group we're not all the same, right? I wonder if it's the light is like hazy on the camera. I don't know what's happening. It's a little better since I plugged it back in, but still hazy. Wasn't on photo. I don't know why it's doing this, but before I get started, let me ask you to take a look at my signs. I just tethered myself. Let me unplug so you can have a little better look. And there you go. So let me plug back in here. So yeah, there's a lot of rules, and I have to say that I have black family. I definitely spent a lot of time with them growing up, like every weekend at their houses on holidays. So it's not like I probably don't sound like what you would expect, but my family does. Wait a moment. The reason why I don't is because when I was pretty young, my mom moved us to a white neighborhood. So I have been... You start talking the way the people around you talk. You don't even know you're doing it. But I was aware of it because I don't know. I would notice something like that. But anyway, that is something that has kind of placed a barrier between, like, my own family. Oh, I said that wrong. Between other black people and my own family, because one of the rules is if you're black, you gotta be black. You can't be sounding white or looking white, because that ain't cool. I mean, sure, pre-birth blueprint plan, I guess I absolutely chose this, all of this look and everything, and the whole everything, but here, and like most people, I am still like, I don't make the rules. Because not everybody even is thinking about it on that level of it being like a whole plan thing. So I might as well revert for a moment to, I don't make the rules. I mean, this is in any other like way of looking at it, it would just be random the way you turned out. I mean, there might be causes like having a white mother like I do, although this is the weirdest thing. Like, my family on my dad's side, black family part, my whole family is like black family, but my mom doesn't sound like them, although she is from New Orleans, and she doesn't sound the way she used to sound. Like, she completely... Well, I don't know if she even... Like I said, you don't know you're doing it. I was going to say she eliminated her accent, but I don't think she was ever, like, ashamed of it. I think after like 40 some years or more living in California from Louisiana, she just lost her accent, you know, like I don't think it was conscious. So she didn't have that. And people, I guess, that haven't been to the South sort of assume the Southern accent is a black thing. Some people, I don't know, like the experience I'm thinking of was kind of weird, but it was between children. But even then, I knew, like, this fool don't know what he's talking about. Because in the South, everybody has a Southern accent. It's not just one cultural group and everybody else sounds like, I don't know, they're from England. Like, what? I don't know what this guy thought. But I think he was like 9 at the time, so you have to, like, be a little bit elastic with these things. But even in my family, it was like, if I said my mom is white or made any reference to her being white, I would immediately be corrected that how black she was. She's black, she's black, she's black, you know, and to look at her, you wouldn't think so, because she don't look like she is. She looks white. And the reason for that is her mom was white. My grandmother was like alabaster white. Like she was mixed with something else white. I don't know, but... And then my mom, I don't know. I don't know who my grandfather was. My mom would never tell me when I asked. And my grandmother passed away. I don't know who my grandfather was. Oh, well, that would have been the same guy. Never mind. Well, anyway, no one would talk about it, but my grandmother passed away before I was old enough to think about asking. And I never thought to ask the rest of my family. They may know. I don't know, because that was all, like, Louisiana stuff, and my dad's family was from Houston, so they wouldn't necessarily know, you know. Anyway, so, like, that kind of thing happens where they're just like, no, it has to be this way or it's not okay or something. Like, I don't really understand. God, it's hot. It's, like, kind of too hot for this. Having my hair down, I don't think I like it. Grab a rubber band. Give me a second. So, I want to move on to a different thing that happens. And this was when I was a little older and I was in high school. And I'm in the girls' bathroom. And in high school, I had like a couple of friends from the neighborhood and a few other friends, probably because I was a punk rocker and most people were afraid of you or something, didn't know what the hell was going on, and there was some hostility or whatever. But anyway, that was, I don't know if I have to explain this to people, but it used to be when you're in high school, so this would have been in the 80s, there are groups like nerds, jocks, goths, punks, whatever. There were no goths at the time that I was in there. No, I don't remember seeing anything like a goth until like the 90s. So anyway, you know, you have those social groups. So I'm in the bathroom and I'm whatever. Actually, I think I had gone in there to smoke. But I was in a stall, so anyway, these couple of girls came in, 2 or 3, I don't remember, black girls, and they started talking about me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know them. I might have had classes with them, but I didn't, like, know them or associate them, because I could see them. Those stalls have, like, a crack, so you could, like, I'm just sitting there on the commode looking at them, like, why are you talking about me? And it was, she thinks she's so white, and I have heard that so much. So I've already explained why I sound the way I sound as opposed to other black people. and like I know this, like I'm aware of these things at that time, and I'm like, why do I always get blamed for this? I just thought it was weird then. I think it's weird now. So that, and then so to say that, like, she thinks she's white, it would be other things sometimes too. She thinks she's something, always from a black person. Never. It doesn't make them better or not, because not everything is like totally perfect hanging around with white people as a black person. But my experience mainly is I'm just hanging around with them. Like, the black person thing doesn't really come up. Like, they are comfortable enough with me that they kind of forget and start like talking bad, and then they catch themselves because they realize I'm there, and they're like, so like, it's not perfect. And that Nolan Wells thing that just happened, that's like an extreme example of what I was just saying. Like, that's where it could go. But it wasn't like that where I was in Los Angeles at the time. Like, I don't think the attacks, however they got them, like, I've heard of ambushes since I was a small child in the 60s. Like, where people are lured somewhere and then under false pretenses, and then bad things happen. Or there's lynchings, also bad. Like, it just makes you feel really terrible, because you don't know at any time if you couldn't end up being that person in the news. So it's like a terrible way to, like, walk around carrying that all the time. It just kind of sucks. Anyway, so I got off the track of what I was saying, but that she thinks she whatever, I would hear a lot. Like, I bet I would still hear it if people didn't think I was around to hear it. And it would piss me off, because first of all, how do you think you know what I think? Because every time it happened, the person was just wrong, completely wrong. Like, if I thought about it at all, it would be about the stuff that I talked about, like realizing that I was going to sound different because of, spending so much time where I was spending it, and not, because I had experienced that thing where you start just picking up the way the people around you are talking. When I spent like half a summer, so a month and a half in Texas, I came back and I had a full-on accent, and oh my god, my idiot friends teased me so much, and then it like wore off back into my normal accent. So, like, back to what I was saying. Like, how do you think you know what I'm thinking? You have no idea. And so, I don't know, it, like, just pisses you off. Pissed me off, I should say. So, I let them talk a little bit, and they didn't say much more. Like, that was pretty much all they really had to say. And, like, they didn't even talk about the punk rock, or which I would have thought would be a reason to be teasing me, but no. So I just came out of the stall, and I was like, I was like ready to fight everybody, and then, and I was like, okay, so now what do I think? And they like left. They didn't run, they just left. So I don't know. But that is like a kind of uncomfortable experience I've had with the culture, my people. And so, with that in mind, like, I feel like I now have to think about that too. So, years later, not on that subject specifically anymore, but this happened a couple of weeks ago. I'm watching some show on, like, Looper or something, and it's like, it's about a movie or a show, and they're interviewing, or there's like a thing. Wait, now I'm not sure where I saw this, because it could have been in oh, that's where I probably saw it, is in a Reese Waters video. Reese Waters, comedian guy, black guy, check him out, he's funny. So anyway, I think in one of his videos, because he does cutaway clips while he's talking, and so one of the cutaways was, of course, it's on the subject that he was talking about, which I don't precisely remember, but it was black people stuff. So they cut away, and it's Morgan Freeman, and he must have been talking about Obama, because he's like, Obama's not black, and I was like, what? And he's like, no, and the interviewer, I guess, did sort of the same take, and he says, no, he's not, because he has a white mother. And I'm like, and I don't know, I guess I stopped listening, but like I said, it was a cutaway clip, so it wasn't long. That might have been all he said. I guess it made me mentally spiral for a minute, because I'm like, if that wasn't public knowledge and he didn't know that, you could look at me and definitely make that assumption, right? But you can't look at Barack Obama and make the same assumption. So I was like offended, because who are you, Morgan Freeman, to say, and why do you think you're the guy that can say that? Like, who are you? Black people, like I said, they got a lot of rules, and so I don't know, like, the ratio of people that would wholeheartedly agree with him in the culture, but I think that's ridiculous. And he handed it down like he was still acting like he was God. I was like, stop that. So, there's, people are deeply opinionated. The bathroom story. I don't remember ever even talking to those girls before. I did recognize them because, I don't know, we went to the same school, but I don't think I ever had anything to say to them. Like, I didn't even know if they were in any of my classes for sure. But they sure had opinions about me. And I don't like that. You can form an opinion even with no information. I can't stop anyone, but, you know, we went to the same school. You could have found out if what you were talking about was real. But, you know, whatever. Like, that's, I guess, silly of me to think, because nobody's going to do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, there's something more. Oh yes, well, here's something that is really so utterly confusing to me, but it's kind of true when it comes up with any race, and that is, but it's not, I don't think, this way in other races, and it is the homophobia, or just the weirdness around gayness. Bill Burr, the comedian, the white comedian who has a black wife and family, was being interviewed by, I think, Charlemagne the God, and Charlemagne asked him some kind of question that was alluding to not Bill, but somebody else's gayness. It may have been Diddy, I don't know. But, you know, Bill Burr just, like, put on the brakes, right? He's like, well, you know, you guys are, like, crazy with the homophobia in the community, like, and I have to agree, it's, like, out of control. Mainly because there are gay people that are out. Some of them, I think, have grown up in an area of the society, I guess, where they were comfortable and not afraid to just be out. And then there's others that are more circumspect. I'm not going to say closeted, because they're, like, out, but they're not flamboyant, I guess. They're, like, really low-key, because, like, when people, it's like when sharks get the scent of blood. That's what it's like if you're, like, weak, I guess, about this. I was going to say commitment, but it's not. I mean, that's pretty much, if you're gay, that's your deal. like I'm straight, and that's my deal, you know? I'm not even, like, really interested in or curious about the other stuff. So, and other people are. That's how we're all made. We're all made a little bit different. So, and then there's the people that are on the down low, where they have heterosexual relationships all the way up to marriages and families, and then they're like, I don't know how else to put it, sneaking around and doing gay sex stuff. But they'll say it's not gay, it's on the down low, they're just not telling anybody. And I'm like, okay, call it whatever you want, I guess. It's your deal. So, those are just a few things that I'm like fascinated by, because like I said, there's opinionated people on like all of the subjects, and on those last three, the opinionated are strong. They're strongly opinionated about it, and I mean, I have to say, I don't know why, but I feel like a little nervous talking about it. Like, there's no reason. There's if there's, I think there's like a black family that lives on the next block, but we don't like know each other. We know each other are here because we're the only two in the vicinity of probably 30 miles to households. That's another story. But there's a lot of, like, I feel like sadness and anguish that happens with the people on the download. Well, for one thing, if you're doing the download stuff and you're not, like, using protection, for instance, and you have a family, you can bring horrible things back to the family if your partner is at all promiscuous or infected with something. So that's bad, and then you can only pretend that ain't happening for so long. If symptoms start to happen to your other partner, and they go to the doctor and they find out without a doubt that they got something funky and they weren't with anyone else, it's like you're in the corner of the closet now. And then it's just like, if the out ones are out, usually I think they're like pretty much okay, because they're not showing signs of weakness or like vulnerability like perhaps the closeted and the down low ones are. But sometimes those people end up in trouble from I guess homophobes. They don't have to be from the culture. They could just be anyone that sees someone gay and wants to hurt them. And that's rooted in their own problems too, by the way. But it's like half you didn't sign up for that, and half that's exactly what you signed up for in your lifetime. So it's sad, but interesting. Like, interesting choice, right? Lots of interesting choices pre-born. Like, you could decide to be aborted. And, I mean, I can't even fathom what that experience must be like, since your awareness is so unformed. Your human awareness, though, I think up until you're like about 4, you still got like half of the spiritual world attached to you from before you were born. So that's cool. And then we like, there's nothing there. There's nothing under your bed. There's nothing in the closet. No, and nobody's seeing what you're seeing to sort of like do the same thing that your accent does. Like when you're like me, when you come back with one that ain't really yours, and you just gotta like, get right out of that. Like, force the running of the course on that. So, I guess my theme here with the black people stuff today was, I wrote it down. I didn't feel like I needed to like write a whole bunch of stuff about it, because I mean, I've lived it for a long time. So, I mean, I've thought about it all a lot already. Okay, so, and I still have cards. So, my last thing that I was going to say was regarding the theme of today is what is blackness and who says so? Because I was thinking about Morgan Freeman. I was like, oh, I didn't realize you were the rule maker. All right, to the cards. I did the numbers, and then I don't think I read anything. Oh, I did them for me. I didn't do them for you. So this is number 16. No picture really has words. So 1 and 6 is 7, and I always think of the tarot cards. I always think of the Rider-Waite, not Roger Waters. I always think of those illustrations because they're kind of the most common thing you're going to find on a tarot deck. So I don't actually have a Rider-Waite deck, but I have several of the style like that. And I have a booklet, and I wanted it because when I refer to the tarot cards, it's usually because there's an image. So number 16, 1 and 6 is 7. So 7 in the tarot is the Chariot. And the Chariot, clearly, you're going places. Things are moving quickly. And the other thing about 7 is, in tarot, there's another card, the 7 of Cups, where it represents lots of choices. And, you know, I'm going to say because I got the two images together, you have to make a choice in a hurry, I guess? Or, well, before the opportunity passes, I guess. I think that's what it is. So, okay, let me go ahead and read what's on this card. Our love for one another is through the Sacred Heart in an elevated bliss of our Mother, Father God's divine love within us. So, considering the subject matter, the culture, the black community, God, we've been through a lot over like the 400 years we've been in this country, and so you know, we're like well embedded and have been a part of everything, and yet, you know, like most of the rest of society, or like white society and some of everybody else, does not like us. But since we're all here together and we have these, you know, like things we've signed up for, and we're with each other, and so going back to like the gay part of what I was talking about earlier, we have these symbolic lives, I'm going to call them. It like gives us markers, like a differing appearance, and like I guess cultural activities or traditions, just to make us enough different to where we don't really know everything about those other people except the obvious similarities, like, you know, physical, like head, limbs, digits, all the same, facial features. But specifically on a personal level, like, you know, everyone is different, so you got a whole society of different everyones with every race, and it seems like it's set up, like we all signed up for it to be the way it is, with separations and togetherness and all, and even like morphing from one to another as part of what you're here doing, like as part of your mission. So just want to focus it like kind of on like that group, just to say that regardless of how we present or like our sexual what is the word I want to say, leaning, proclivity, there's a word, and of course it's escaping me, and now I'm irritated by that. But anyway, our love for one another is through the Sacred Heart in an elevated bliss. And so it is part, even those three groups within the Black community, with all of the opposition and fear and anger and maybe even envy for like people that can sort of break free of, like I said, there's a lot of like rules, and they're like not really written, they're sort of like, I guess, oral tradition or something. Because one thing that there is a sameness about, like a very close sameness amongst Black people from like anywhere they originate from, since I've been sort of noticing this, is those rules, like real strict on some things like religion and presenting yourself, and I can't think of the word again, but like where you land sexually. So within that one confine, like that one small group, there's a great opportunity for us to learn from each other. And my feeling about the gay, the LGBTQ and everything else community and everything about it and around it is there, and then it keeps arising, and then people get so upset and get all bent out of shape. But I think the reason why there's so many different things to sort of focus on, and people do that in different ways, like they get mad, they get hostile, or they want to get some kind of revenge because they are really, like, these people make them mad, make this person or people very angry. And it's not the people that get angry, it's not any fault of theirs. Like that Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida. So that was like a gay dance club, and there, I think, all gay, like lesbians and gay men there, like it was like a gay place, gathering place. And this guy went there, and I guess he'd been there a bunch of times. And he had, like, he was fighting with himself over his own sexuality. Like, his family was like, gay people, terrible, sinning, bad. Like, I think there was a lot of religious programming happening in that family. And so I'm assuming the guy didn't really have any outlet for how he felt. And I think he even had, like, a heterosexual relationship going, but it sounds like he was just going through the motions, because what we learned, like, after everything was over, was that the guy actually was struggling with his sexuality, and then he went to this place, and I assume he was struggling with himself for being there. Like, he wanted to be there, and everything else in his, like, body, because of everything he'd heard his whole life, was saying, you can't be here, these people are bad and wrong, and you should hate them, I think is what he might have been struggling with. And so he's in there, and he can't, like, reconcile, he can't, like, break away from, like, his family's programming or society's programming, or, like, I think he was Filipino. So there's another group that within themselves, a lot of rules, religion coloring a lot of it in a very similar way as in the Black community. Like, just that is very passionate and powerful, and like, they stick to the rules in that Bible, and I don't know that they're interpreting them in a way that is helpful to any of those people I mentioned, but that's something way too deep to start talking about in the middle of this. So this guy is at the club. He's struggling with how he feels about himself and his family. Like, mainly his father. I'm getting it's like mainly his father. And he just felt trapped and angry. Like, he couldn't, like, even... this guy was an adult and he still couldn't, like, do what he wanted to do. Then he really wanted to be at this club and he really wanted to be okay with it. And I guess he just couldn't do it because he brought a gun. And then that's what happened before the end of it. Before, like, that's when the shooting started. So that is, like, terrible that the man felt that squeezed to react that way, but he's not the first. And then there's all this other conspiracy theory stuff going on in my head that could have affected him too, but oh my god, that is such another, like, it's a literal rabbit hole, so let me just run away from that real quick. But, you know, so my point is, finally, the people in the three groups of the homosexuals relate to the whole of black society, and then beyond that, greater society, in different ways. You know, like, one's fine to just be walking around themselves however they are, like, that's how they present, like, love it or leave it, you know. And then you have the people that are closeted, where they're at least with themselves honest about who they are. Out of that closet, though, probably, you know, probably people know, but if you stay in the closet, the people that care about that are kind of like, okay, good, keep that to yourself or something, and then you're, like, kind of safe. But then you're like the guy in the nightclub, you're trapped, you don't feel like you can fully express yourself, and that's gotta feel terrible. And it's bad enough when it's just you and yourself inside your head. It's terrible when, like, society generally is against you, and then, like, if you get singled out, it's just, I'm not gay, so I am only imagining, but it just must feel terrible, like, all around. And then the last group were the people on the down low, and they already are unhappy. They're already in that place. Like, if you're hiding it, you're just in an unhappy place, I think. I don't see how you can, like, stuff who you are down. Well, I do. Like, I had to do it, like, when I worked for, like, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that was kind of rough, because I'd rather just be who I am, and you just deal with it. You take it or leave it, because that's pretty much what I got to deal with whenever people send whatever they got this direction. So deal with it, I guess. And I'm reluctant to say this, but deal with it also for your own self, in terms of get out from under that load, that burden, and let them other people deal with it. Like, they know there's gays out there, so it's just, like, kind of crazy to act like because everybody doesn't believe in it, there's not going to be gay people. Well, everybody can be saying that they believe the same thing, but maybe they don't, and that's why you have people in the groups that are trying to hide, you know? And I just used that group for an example. There's many other, and it's not even all LGBTQ community, it's just like everybody, every, like, subsection of society, race, whatever, has this set of rules that people are supposed to adhere to, and there's always somebody that is not doing that, that are not adhering to the rules, and somebody that's cowering and hiding because of the rules, and nobody, that's like, those are two extremes, and I don't know, it's just not good to live in the extremes for a long time. It's like being addicted to like drugs. That's like living in the extreme all the time. Okay, so I'm not finishing. There's a happy ending though. And it mainly, like, it's not about pleasing the other people, you know. It's about pleasing yourself. Like that first group I mentioned that were just gay, and it wasn't even that they were like, ow, they're just, I'm gay, and like they're just walking around like all the other ones do, and living their life. And the people that have a problem with it are kind of the ones making a problem of it. And so when we can all just like give each other a break, give each other that break to just be free to live their life. Really, if they're not hurting you or affecting your life, you don't really have the right, I don't think, to interfere with other people. As long as all the trains are going on time, then everybody should just like not interfere with other people unless asked. Okay, next card. So this card is the number 44. Two fours add up to an 8. And that is the next number in the tarot card. So I do have that illustration to show you as well. And it is strength, as I've talked about before. So here's the illustration. And you see something that's really probably not that big of a deal as far as like taming the cat and feeling comfortable enough to, you know, handle the cat's mouth and teeth and all of that. It's a cat lady, man. Of course she can do that. I can handle my cat all over his tummy if I want to, and his chin. I don't really go in his mouth though, his teeth are sharp. But I feel perfectly fine. Like you know when your cat's about to attack, even if it's you, their pupils are fully dilated, their hairs are doing something, their ears might be doing something, their tail might be doing something. You know you're about to get bit, scratched, or something. But when he does it, he just kind of is like acting, because he'll grab me with both of the claws and he'll bite me, but he'll just go. Like, he's not, you know, puncturing me or anything. We're playing. But still, like I said, he's got sharp teeth and claws. So, you're not... I'm not going to say you're in the same kind of danger you would be in if you were messing with a full-grown lion, but you can still get mangled. You can still get scratched up. Over this woman's head, she's got a garland in her hair, and I think they're roses. Why am I focusing on that? I don't remember all of what the garlands are about. Again, it's got roses though, and I can tell you that the roses are associated with Mary Magdalene. So that's peace, that's self-knowing, and also, like, Mary was an Essene, or educated by Essenes, and she either was born of them or was educated by them. At the very least, she learned from Jesus, or Yeshua, the Gnostic stuff, the Gnostic learnings. And she picked up on it, like, better than all of the other disciples, which made, I think, Paul jealous, and then he acted like a man. Anyway, getting sidetracked. So, she's self-assured Earth Mother, because if anything, she's Mary Magdalene is definitely, you know, with the roses in the garden, there's an association. And then over her head, she's got that Xfinity thing, but it's also, whoop, if you turn it sideways, it's an 8 that the number on this card, 44, adds up to. And, so, I'm getting real strong. This is about self-assurance and courage and being able to hold yourself up in whatever situation. Like, you just have it always. It's like the character of your soul. You have that strength, and you carry it with you, and in your life. It's not unusual for you to be strong in the face of challenging things like a lion. So this card says, "For thou that fear Mary Magdalene the Christ, fear the true powers of the divine feminine in thy sacred heart." So that's interesting. If you fear the divine feminine, that's that's not something. The divine feminine is not a characteristic to be found only in women. Men have those aspects, or that aspect as well, which I think you can refer to it as a whole, but I think it sort of feeds into many other aspects from the whole. So it's like not one thing. It's everything. But if you fear that part of yourself, you're locking yourself away from crucial parts of, like, your learning to be a human, pretty much. But with grace, like, you don't necessarily have to, like, show the kind of power that you see when, like, there's a war. Like, it's not a warrior thing in that sense. It could come down to a physical fight, but it's more about the strength to draw from the well within to gather strength. And that's what the feminine often does. Like, she's not out there physically conquering the world and other people. What she's doing is more comes from deeper inside, so more thoughtful, more strategic, because a woman can go places and to this day still be underestimated and like invisible in a way that, while they're in the person who's diminishing them, while they're in that presence, they can pick up all kinds of information because the person doesn't respect them and will just blow it in front of them and talk like it's the dog, and they can't, like, go off from there and, you know, impart the information to someone else. Like, and that's not a failing of the female person. That's a failing of the male person, who wouldn't probably dismiss the other feminine, the other female, if they were more in touch with their own divine feminine self. That is, like, it tempers the testosterone, I think, and gives, like, the difference. It's like the difference between getting mad and punching something to get a solution, as opposed to figuring out how to physically go and, like, you know, if it's a repair that needs to be done, fix it. If the gate has been left unlocked, go over and close the gate. It's like about practical things that you just are able to think about it, but it doesn't mean that you have to, like, break everything on the way to, like, to the thing that you're trying to get to and fix. The breaking would be like the sort of masculine, sort of bull in the china shop kind of attitude, without stopping and taking a moment to consider and see the lay of the land, read the room, what is the mood, you know, what does it look like the weather's doing. Like, being a bit more considerate, which is, you know, the difference between asking for a map and not, I guess. Okay, so yeah, it says, oh, it talks about powers on here. I just glided right over that. For thou that fear Mary Magdalene, the true Christ, no, sorry, for those that fear Mary Magdalene, the Christ, fear the true powers of the divine feminine and thy sacred heart. So that to me is saying that you're afraid of a potentially really powerful part of yourself, but you're walling it off because it's a girl, I guess, if you're a guy. But you know what, you could be a woman too. I'm not that woman, so I don't think that way, but there could be a woman too that is that way. And what you're doing is you're like putting up a barrier between yourself and true power. Like, you have the power to like turn away and to move someone aside out of your way, but that's not as strong and powerful as just facing whatever you're afraid of, because like maybe you'll conquer it because you have the strength and the power, but not if you're afraid to access it, you know. Like, maybe you're getting it wrong. Maybe you need to meditate on it more, because it's there for you when sort of smashing through the door doesn't work, you know? Like, you have options. And strength can manifest in many different ways. It doesn't have to be one way, you know? Why should it just be one way? That would be a waste of every resource that we have so many of. Okay. I think I have gotten it all in my system. Thank you and good night.